The first thing on the agenda today is to pray for Larry Sinclair. Amen. Want to do that. And I want to state this as I pray for Larry. I was at the press conference last Wednesday on the 18th of June. There at the Press Club in Washington, D.C. Very impressive place as Brother Larry came on and made his statements. And I made this statement on Friday, and I want to make it again today. When I first became aware of Larry, and we want to pray for him, Brother Sinclair, is that right? I first became aware of him. I was aware mainly of his some sexual relationship with the Senator Barack Hussein Obama. But when I heard his testimony, and that was solidified, I mean, that relationship was by his testimony. Watching him speak for about half an hour nonstop just convinced me, though I had been already convinced. It was just sealed. But the thing that I was not expecting that did happen was the extent to which the Senator Obama is a drug user. And perhaps he doesn't use drugs now, but back in 1999, he was smoking crack. And Larry Sinclair spoke in such eloquence and such ease and such vivid descriptions about his smoking crack that I was better impressed on him being a drug user, in addition to him having these bisexual, closet homosexual tendencies that he is given to express. And I'll say this to the American public, that both of these tendencies, both of these problems, the problem, if you want to call it a problem, both of these items that Larry Sinclair is charging that Senator Barack Obama is addicted to, one is a homosexual activity, sex with men. A large debate that goes on in the American society today is that people are born homosexual. If you want to argue that, you can argue that, and I will not argue against you. But I do want to argue that if you believe that you're born homosexual, that it is a natural, if you will, it is a natural approach to sexuality, then it is not something that you can ever stop being. It is not something that you can ever stop doing. And even if you stop having relationships, such as a Donnie McClurkin says he no longer, who was once a homosexual, but says he doesn't have homosexual relationships with men anymore, the urge and tendencies are still there. It isn't like the tendencies go away. You just stop allowing them to be vented or to be expressed. If it is what the sociologists and the large cadre of homosexual people are saying, that it is indeed a naturally, you're born that way. So you can no more change that than a leper can change his spots. You can no more change that than a man can forget the cunningness of his right hand. You can't change it if that is true. So if it is true, then though the senator may not be presently involved in homosexual relationships, he still has those urgencies and those tendencies. So every time we see him on camera, every time we see him giving an address, every time we see him, we have to then look at him and know that in his mind, when he looks at men, some of those men are sexually appealing to him, same as when men look at women, some women are sexually appealing to them. Now, Jesus said this about adultery. Jesus said that you have heard that you should not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh upon a woman with the desire to have sex with her, then he has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So, if it is true what the large group of homosexuals and the sociologists promote, that you are born that way and it cannot be distinguished, then every time we see the senator, every time we see him addressing large groups of people, every time we see him on television, every time we see him being interviewed, we have to then know that he is looking at men. We have to then know that he is looking at men with an intent and desire to have sexual intercourse with them. Now, you say, well, men who like women or who are, I suppose men who have a desire to have women do the same thing. That is true. That is very, very true. But we want to understand that. That's the first thing. The second thing is that once a crack addict, once you are a cocaine addict or heroin addict, heroin is less an addictive drug as is cocaine, and crack is a more addictive drug than just snorting cocaine, once you ingest cocaine with crack, it is very difficult for you to ever overcome those feelings. You will always feel depressed. You will always feel, even if you've not used it in 20 years, you will always feel less than optimum living if you can't get yourself a hit of crack. So these are very dangerous desires that would be inside of the life of Barack Hussein Obama should he become the president. And under stressful times, at times of great stress, he may seek to relieve himself by having a homosexual intercourse, or he may seek to relieve the stress of leading the free world by smoking crack cocaine. And these are things that must be greatly considered.